I waited an hour to not. I didn't even get it. I never got the sandwich.
That was an anticlimax ending. I was waiting for you, like, yeah, I got it, and I shit my pants straight away. And
I've heard a rumor that the end of that story was the best part.
The best part about it was I wasted an hour of my life to not even try the sandwich.
Which was the worst part of this story and podcast. All right, let's get to the start. All right, ready? Here we go. Today on episode 12 of No Putts Given, we're going to cover the Tour Championship in the new format, shot of the truth, and slow play in golf, or is it even really a problem? We're covering Most Wanted today. Stay tuned because anybody that listens to today's podcast gets to hear the winner of the Most Wanted Fairway Wood prior to Monday when we announce it. We're going to cover the rain gear winner from this year, and Callaway's visiting MyGolfSpy, and guess the yardage challenge happening today. Let's get it.
Why am I here?
All right, so Tour Championship, new format. So I don't know what you guys know about it, what everybody else knows about it out there, but basically the objective was to clear up the confusion. The end of the season in golf is never really, it's kind of underwhelming if you ask me. So one way they're trying to fix that is not have two winners, right? Not one FedEx Cup and one Tour Championship winner. And the way that they've come up with is this new system. So what you're seeing is right when we begin the tournament, Justin Thomas starts off kind of in a pole position at 10 under somehow without ever hitting a shot. And it's kind of like NASCAR, right? So you're
the better
polling.
you play throughout the playoffs, the better your position going into the final tournament.
Correct. So what do we think? You know, like, do we like this idea? Do you think it solves the problem? What do you think?
Well,
Tom?
if you think about any other sport, say for instance the Premier League in England, soccer, there isn't you play the whole league and you get rewarded when you get to the end. So the playoffs, you make the playoffs, and then you've got to win those ones to get to the final, and then you get promoted. With this, it's kind of the same thing. Throughout the whole season, you're playing towards a bigger picture. So
And you get seeded better.
So when if you are number one, you get rewarded for it. Where really, if you're number one in previous years, you just go out and play, and then you got to start all over again and hope you have a good week to win that $15 million.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that it eliminates
It's a
that.
lot of dollars.
Straight in my basket.
Going straight in my basket.
I like the fact that it eliminates this two-winner thing because, you know, last year you're looking at Tiger Woods winning the Tour Championship, and then you look at Justin Rose winning the FedEx Cup, and Justin Rose having to come down the 18th hole, and he had to birdie 18 just to win the FedEx Cup. Otherwise, he would have given it up. But, I mean, it's kind of weird to see two guys standing on the, you know, with two different trophies. So I like that, but I don't know if this was the best way to go about it.
I don't know. We haven't seen it. Yet. This is the first time they're doing it. So after this weekend, we're going to see if it works better.
Shoot, after day one, it's Friday. Yesterday they played, and Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, and Xander Schauffele are all tied at the lead, and it was one day. It took one day to level the playing field like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's good because they know how many shots they need to catch up.
Tony, you look like you have something to say.
I just don't care about it at all either way. Didn't the season end with the Open Championship? I guess we're just trying to make people care about the tail end of the season, which is nice, but I don't.
So that's exactly what my next question is. Like, do we actually think this is the way the golf season should end? Like, there's a finality to every other sport, kind of. It's the Super Bowl, the World Series, right? Golf, is this even close to any of those?
Well, when you're playing for $15 million, it adds some kind of excitement to it.
It does for the players.
Not
for the
fans, though. Like, woo,
yeah, that's true.
I can't wait to see who gets $15 million.
Not me.
No. I tune out after the Open Championship, and, you know, if there's a Ryder Cup happening every couple of years, I'll watch a little bit of that. But
maybe I'm a little different. I really like I like the playoffs. I like the Tour Championship. I think having only 30 guys at Eastlake makes it like more intimate. Everybody, I mean, that's the only thing is like not every single person in that field has a legitimate chance to win. The good news is I think the tweet that I read, I think the worst player is making $365,000 this week. So everyone's getting a fat paycheck whether you win or not, but
hooray paycheck.
That's what they're playing for, though, aren't they? Isn't that what everyone's
Actually,
playing for?
More than that, what's one thing that's interesting about it is this counts as a tournament, meaning whoever wins this and wins the tournament, you can actually win as it counts as a tournament win. So you can win 2 tournaments in one weekend.
And that's where the PGA Tours come into this debacle where they're like, okay, well, there's 2 tournaments. Should we have 2 winners, or should we give both tournaments to one player?
Yeah, it's interesting. So anyway, well, we'll see how it goes this weekend and see what everybody thinks after 1 week. Tony is not happy with it, I can tell.
I just like I said, I don't care. I stopped watching golf after the Open.
Can we do predictions? I'm ready to bet some money.
Oh, okay. Well, you're not good at
Don't
this,
put
but
Callaway again.
I'm going Brooks.
you're going Brooks.
I'm going Brooks.
I'm going Xander.
Xander's got good history at East.
I don't know. Thomas. I don't know. I don't care.
Don't go Jordan Spieth.
No, he's
Can
already.
you?
He's not in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
Neither did Tiger.
Damn.
Shame.
All right, well, we're moving on to this week's Shot of the Truth, and that is something that's been discussed kind of ad nauseum for not just the past week, but decades, right? And that is slow play. And from my point of view, I think it's interesting that slow play controversy is even making waves, because slow play is not a problem in professional golf. So, I understand that everybody, saw what Bryson did and, got out their pitchforks. But every single golf tournament and the PGA Tour has finished on time. Every single one. They've never had a delay. They've never had to push it back for slow play. So it's just funny. Golfers over decades and decades and decades, when you go back and look at Nicklaus and Tiger and all these other golfers, have taken longer than DeChambeau. Yet no one said anything, because when they were dominating the sport, it would have looked bad for them to bitch and complain about it. If this was Tiger that was taking it over that long and that ball kind of came up to the left and dropped in, no one cares about how long that shot took,
Right.
So I just think it's, in today's time, social media has created this entire problem, and it's all about the likes and retweets and all that stuff. So if they post a picture or a cool meme of Bryson, taking too long, and they get a lot of likes, guess what that means to the other social media warriors out there? They're going to want likes and retweets, and they're going to post it, and they're going to try to get some love and some action, because that's their currency nowadays, likes and retweets.
Yeah, and I noticed that when it first started coming up with this whole Bryson issue, I noticed that a lot of people that have influence or have a lot of followers were just putting in their thought, like as if their followers really wanted to hear what they had to say. And it's like, do you even know the facts? How much research have you actually done into slow play? What, have you timed Bryson? Do you know anything?
Minus that, just this is something that falls on deaf ears in social media nowadays, but show me the facts. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to talk a big talk, but they can't walk the walk of showing the actual facts and the history and things like that. So they create this big hubbub. They think it's great that, the PGA Tour creates a response based on what they think they influenced. Mm-hmm. And, but the reality is slow play in a professional level isn't a problem. Now,
well, according to players, it is.
Okay. And not one of them, when asked, you're right. So when they're polled, they say slow play has affected them in some way. But not a single one of them went on to admit that they're one of the problems in slow play.
No, yeah.
Nobody thinks they play slow.
But yeah. whether they think it's affected them, everybody knows that somebody, when you're playing recreational golf ahead of you, has maybe affected your errant shot that you hit. Mm-hmm. But the facts are this: slow play is not real in professional golf, because it is never shown to be actually in existence, meaning no tournament has not finished on time. Okay?
Yeah,
well, but you gotta, what's on time though? Right. They give these guys basically 5.5 hours on a TV broadcast to finish, so they're gonna fit in that window every time. But Joel Beal yesterday posted on Twitter he followed Bryson around and timed every shot, and when you're taking an average of 1.5 minutes plus over every putt, well, not every putt, but again, an average of 1.5 minutes. That's ridiculous.
Okay,
it's just
well, when it comes to players, so the PGA players on the tour have showed their opinion and voiced their opinion on who's the slowest, and who do you think is out there that they say is one of the slowest players?
Who's that?
Ben Crane.
Ben Crane is notorious for slow play.
So all you have You have Ben Crane, JB Holmes, DeChambeau is kind of on there, but Kevin Na, Jason Day, Jordan Spieth is just to name.
All right, well, back to Tony's point. Like, I'm just saying, as of right now, with the limitations, there's never been a tournament that didn't finish on time. You're saying, okay, what's on time? Well, until they create an on time, it's on time, right?
I think it's relative.
Well, that's the thing, though. They do have this idea, right? Bryson's video, he talked about being under time par, right? Which is the idea of, this is what you're supposed to play the entire course in, and not everybody finishes under time par. So there are, if that's your definition of slow play, hey, I was over time par, that definitely happens.
I guess the bigger point is this: how does a PGA Tour guy playing 30 seconds slower or whatever affect you or your round? It doesn't. I mean, they're the 1%ers, right?
Well, I think it does, though. I mean, because I've played in tournaments, especially with I don't want to say young like junior, but younger golfers, mid-20s, guys that have sort of learned by watching tour players, and that they emulate what they see. And when you've got a guy who's an 18 handicap that's lining up behind the ball and literally taking a minute and a half over every shot, you're like, what the fuck? You're like, hit the goddamn ball.
I mean, Bryson coming out with actually a really good point, and resonated with me a little bit, is if you hit it longer, you can't walk all the way up to your ball, 9 times out of 10, because they're normally down the fairway anyway.
You can't play as fast as you could.
Exactly. So
the clock on these guys doesn't start until they get to the ball.
Yeah, but if you look at the big picture, the shorter hitters are going to be hitting first, so you can't really start your methodology until you get to the ball and then go.
That's a problem with golf in general. The slowest guy that starts out the day, the first tee time, is going to be the guy that sets the pace for the rest of the day.
Yeah, because it's all etiquette, and it's all, you don't want to get in the player's eye and eye line when they're swinging purely because of etiquette. Like, do we need to change the etiquette, or do we?
Well, I think there's some simple solutions for pro golf. If you want to get the time down, right now they're not over time really. Mm-hmm. But if you want to get them down to a lesser time, that's one thing. But the big problem I think that does exist with slow play is for recreational golf, and everybody that's ever played golf more than 10 times probably has ran into a situation that has been frustrating, where we know how long golf can take if played pretty normally, and we know how long it can take when it takes too damn long, right?
Yeah.
So is there anything worse than a 5-hour round of golf?
Yeah, a 5.5-hour round.
Exactly, right?
For amateurs, for sure, yeah.
So, and I don't know if that's solvable by golfers as a whole, because you might go out there with pace of play in mind. The guy in front of you might not. But in a survey that we did conducted on MyGolfSpy, it found that 82% of people say slow play in recreational golf negatively impacts their enjoyment of the game. Okay, and 27% of them said they would actually go as far as paying a premium for a guaranteed 4-hour round or less, which is pretty interesting, right? So we ran across this product at the PGA show, and it's called Tag Marshal. I actually think technology has the solution for this. I think it's the simplest, it's the most uniform, it's applicable to every golfer on the course. You're not relying on one guy to be fast and the other guy that's thinking slow. Everybody is kind of on the clock,
Well, and I think that's the bigger point here, is that pace of play also on the PGA Tour, I don't think is enforced, especially in the amateur ranks. So you have the marshal, but sometimes you have the marshal and he's scared to go up to the group to tell him to hurry the hell up.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a problem there. I think they've only used a penalty once during the PGA.
But if you use technology like Tag Marshal, where everybody basically has a marshal following them 24/7 in this little display on an iPad type thing, right? And what I noticed was it just makes you more aware of things, which just inherently make you play faster. Kind of like when people download apps for getting in shape or dieting. Just knowing how many calories you consume has been shown to show people consume less calories.
Keeping people accountable.
Yes.
And awareness of your pace.
That's the word, though, right there, right? You say keep people accountable. On tour, anyway, and right now on any golf course in the country, there's no real accountability, right? A marshal will give you a warning and tell you to pick up a pace, and the tour will give you a warning, but, until it's costing you shots.
Jason Day comes in and says, I'm going to play as fast as I want to play, that I feel comfortable at.
But do we want to keep hearing these excuses and slaps on the wrist, and they're never going to do anything, or just solve the problem where? And I'm not saying Tag Marshall solves everything. I'm just saying I witnessed it change a round of golf. That for how many years we've been playing in that tournament down there, Tony, Lake Nona, and the other for the Tour Edge Media Day.
Yeah,
10 years, and on average it was 5.5 to 6 hours. First year Tag Marshall came in, 4 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was a great bit of technology, but if you don't have that technology, it's going to be.
But why can't the Tour have that?
Because
again,
the Tour didn't bring it up.
But J.B. Holmes knows he plays slow, right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
A lot of these guys know they're slow.
Yeah, but if there was
a
modified Tag Marshall system that made them more aware of it all the time, which, yes, everyone that knows they play slow, like Matt Meadows, plays slow, right? But being aware of it just inherently, like I said, makes a difference. But what if there was a thing up there that said penalty stroke in, if the next, you just got a warning, right? But it didn't have to be through a human-to-human interaction. It was just just matter of fact.
And now we're moving.
Failing that, how about this? How about you have a shot clock that travels with the group, and you have an irate guy like me who travels with each group who has an air horn, and at any point when that clock gets past 40 seconds, at my discretion, I can honk that horn at any time.
Hey,
either solves the problem. I like that.
The PGA Tour rule is 50 seconds, just for the record.
Whatever it is, give me the horn. And
I think on the European Tour they did have a tournament where they had. Oh no, not a tournament, but I think they had a shot clock that came behind them, and followed a group that was.
Here's
slow.
the difference with that, in my opinion, at least.
But did they have an asshole with an air horn?
No, you would have fitted in well.
Here's the difference, in my opinion. If you have the Tag Marshall thing, it's just kind of nonchalant. Just hey, penalty this. If you have a shot clock, that actually changes how I play golf. I mean, I'm actually now focusing on a clock versus focusing on a shot. Whereas the Tag Marshall thing comes in after you have been delayed, meaning you hit your shot, you come back to your bag, and you go, "Oh shit, I got a penalty," or I got a warning, right? I think it's a solution for a potential solution for recreational and professional golf.
Yeah.
Well, I think you look like I don't know. It's maybe a little different with the PGA Tour, but actually, I would say it clearly isn't, right? If you look at how they handle drug suspensions, for example, everything is kept quiet. The USGA, with the way they test clubs, right? The goal isn't to penalize anybody. It's just sort of this wishful hope that it doesn't happen, right? And so until the USGA and in this case the PGA get to the point where they're comfortable actually penalizing and publicly penalizing golfers, it's going to go nowhere. Just
And I can understand I can understand it's a tough situation because these guys are playing for a lot of money, and for a guy like J.B. Holmes and Jason Day to say, "I'm playing for a lot of money. I'm going to come out and take my damn time."
Yeah, but man,
Brooks Koepka plays for a lot of money too.
Exactly.
And he wins just about every damn time he steps foot on the golf course.
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that's
But don't you think that just simply putting rules in place, all you got to do is do it,
Yeah.
It's like when I don't know, there's a Netflix documentary that just came out about the whole baseball steroid scandal.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see that.
It's called Screwed.
It's good.
It will highlight how not just creating line in the sand rules can create all these issues that are going to come back to haunt sports,
Yeah, I completely agree.
And if slow play is actually, in fact, a problem in recreational golf, which I think it is, and could potentially become one in professional golf if this continues going, even perceptually or optically, right? Something needs to be done, and I always think that the best solution is the most simple solution,
Yeah, these guys need to be – I think that the pace of play rules need to be a little bit more stringent on the players. These guys are getting away with it, and –
yeah, I think the USGA,
okay
USGA and PGA Tour just need to grow some balls and start penalising players if they think that they're proven to be.
Clearly, Ryder thinks so too. So
slow play. So grow some bollocks and step up and give him a stroke penalty.
That being said, all this is just social media justice right now until they create a rule. Like, people are saying they're slow play, but there's no proof of it, no facts that there is, other than a guy that goes out and follows DeChambeau for a few holes and makes that fact of the future.
I mean, I think there's a pretty good case to be made. Like, again, we are seeing, it's not like the PGA Tour, which goes out in 2-man groups on a Sunday, is finishing in 4.5 hours. It's 5.5 hours to get around the golf course on any given weekend. So yeah, that's slow. I there's no other way to describe it. That's slow.
I also
and
think
I understand millions of dollars are on the line, but
cameras and media and all kinds of things are different on that than recreational play as well. And let's talk about it. Sam said 50 seconds is the rule, right?
Yeah.
The guy walked out there with, DeChambeau. I don't know if any of us have timed ourselves, but I doubt we would be the exact same time on every shot. He was under some, he was over some,
It seems
but when you're an average, when your average is above, you're going to be below sometimes, but you're going to be above it a lot of times. And
how many shots did he record of DeChambeau?
He followed the entire round.
Yeah. So
and how many did he post on the internet?
Well,
he posted times for.
He gives average time,
drives, approaches, etc. So every element of the game for sure.
Yeah, and you can see
Bryson was under on, and it was interesting, right? You see guys like, based on Bryson's time, quicker off the tee, right? Because there's a lot less thought that goes into.
All right, here we go. Drives 31.58 seconds, approaches 43.57, 50 yards and under 46.89. So under on every one of those, except putts, 1 minute and 21 seconds. So under.
Hey,
again, that's one round, and I think I don't know what the weather was like, but with Bryson, for example, as the conditions get more complex, I guess you would say, so does the math.
I've got the solution. All right, every pro on the golf course will ride, and the caddies will ride the Finn scooters around the course.
That's a good solution.
And then bang, you're done in 2.5 hours.
Or what about that golf cart that we posted like a few years ago that went like 65 miles an hour down the fairway?
That's just dangerous. So
that's a great example, right? Where it's so set in the ways like no, everybody has to walk. That's core to the game. But like, all right, if you want to speed things up, get everybody to the ball faster. But no, we're not going to talk about things like that. And I'm not suggesting that professional.
I know John Daly would like that.
Well, and those guys, you've been to a PGA Tour event. Those guys walk fast.
They do walk fast.
You gotta follow them tough. So what I was gonna say is, yes, Bryson was under on the first three. So drive, tee shots, approach shots, and 50 yards and in. But he was over on putting. I averaged the 4 out. The USGA limit is what? 50 seconds. 50.76.
So he's right on the number.
He's over.
I mean.
Less than
a
that
second.
1 second.
But anyway,
get him out of here.
Anyway, point being is we're arguing about something that there's not even really like a hard set rule for that they're going to penalize for. So it's just going to be stuff that's spewed on the internet.
The cool thing I like about it though is Bryson and Tony. You and I read the same article. Bryson welcomes penalization. He says, if it's my fault, penalize me.
There you go.
So But I think that's just the essence of it. Is he recognizes that the USGA is not going to penalize him.
Exactly. That's smart by Bryson to say that.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to keep doing it until they make me.
You're going to call me. You're going to make me the poster boy for slow play. Do something about it.
Yep.
Give me a fucking air horn.
Tony, how would you solve slow play?
Air horn.
All right. So next.
No, because if I get to honk that at my discretion, I'm going to cost you strokes. So. And you're gonna want to make sure I don't hit you with that in your backswing. Maybe not practical, but I think it's worth trying.
All right, that's it for Shot of the Truth today in slow play. If you guys have any opinions or girls out there on what you think about slow play, let us know. We'd love to hear it. If you have any facts, we'd really love to see those. And now we're on to something that we've never done before, and that's tell people what the winner of a most wanted category is prior to actually publishing it. So
I won.
We've literally never done that.
No.
Mm-mm. We've given hints.
We've done it for donors. Anyone that donated for Most Wanted, we keep that information, and then we would send out the Most Wanted driver winner prior to the release. But it's the first time ever on the podcast.
Sweet. Well, can I go ahead?
Yeah. Tony's holding it.
Tony, what is it? Yep, there it is.
I got nothing.
So
you want me to do a drum roll?
And the winner is Callaway Epic Flash Sub-Zero.
Hey.
Sub-Zero again. Huh? We like Sub-Zero.
Damn.
So the Sub-Zero won the driver.
And the 3-wood.
And the 3-wood.
Yeah. And so we do not only overall, but we do longest, which was the Strixon Z F85. New offering from Strixon this year. Really good, really fast.
Mm-hmm. Very fast.
And then the most forgiving is the Ping G410 SFT. Not super surprised here. It's definitely a golf club designed for
What's
forgiveness.
what's SFT stand for?
Straight flight technology.
Boom.
Straight in my bath.
So Ping has identified that most amateurs tend to miss to the right, and they created the SFT, and they also have the SFT driver with weighting to kind of try to mitigate that slice and help the ball move right to left. And we also do a best value. This year, sub 70 is a newcomer to our most wanted testing, and they got best value. I think this is their second best value of the year. So
Is that the pro one?
that is the sub 70 Pro.
Pro,
So
okay.
they have the 939X, and then they have the sub 70 Pro. The Pro is obviously a little bit more of a compact model, not as much offset, and there's 2 weights that you can swap back and forth, kind of like the Sub Zero.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Good group.
yeah, really good.
So is there something to the Sub-Zero? Because the driver one is the swing. Did you see the spin rates? Are they recognizably lower than the rest?
To be honest with you, looking at the data, it's not like, whoa, they're crazy low. And you and I both work with the testers to try to optimize launch conditions. So if some guy wasn't spinning it enough, we would try to swap the weights, add some loft, things where we're getting in the windows that we need them to be in.
So on average, it's the lower half of that window
I would
for
say
the
so.
Sub-7.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not one of the higher spinning
Sub-Zero.
clubs.
What's interesting is, we've talked about this before, and Tony and I have, discussed it on many phone calls, but the Flash Sub-Zero and the Flash Sub-Zero fairway would be marketed more towards what type of golfer?
A golfer that needs lower spin.
Yeah, the higher.
Lower
better
handicap,
golfer.
better
Yep.
golfer, right?
Yep.
And what we keep seeing is these drivers, most golfers that, let's say, are seniors would come in and go, I need this and I need that, because that's what they've been told they need, clubs that are made for lower handicaps. But what we see is, even though the low spin, things like that, the driver for the Flash Sub-Zero and the fairway wood both topped out as number 1 most wanted overall.
Yeah.
And that's been a pattern we've seen, not for Callaway in general, but for that type of a club for the better golfer winning the overall, meaning for all types of golfers, not just the better golfers.
Well, and then we break down the driver test by swing speed, and we see that the Callaway Epic Flash Sub-Zero was the best for slow swing speed golfers. So it's interesting.
Yeah, the thing with the Sub-Zero on the driver's side, and I haven't looked closely at the breakdown of the accuracy numbers on the fairway wood yet, but high swing speed players, low swing speed players, whatever, like everybody just seemed to hit that. Not everybody, but most of our testers just hit it exceptionally straight, right? So, if you can hit anything straight and get adequate launch conditions, not necessarily what we would call ideal, you're going to get outstanding performance, because again, like you can, what's more important, right? If you're, hey, I launched that at, using some older numbers, right? 12 degrees and 2400, or I hit it long and in the fairway, regardless of, what the launch and spin were. And we're not talking about, numbers that are ridiculous or, miles from what you would want, just maybe not perfect on the number, but the results are excellent. And when you look into the fairway wood space, some of the really smart R&D guys that I've gotten to know over the years, one of the things that I've heard is like, hey, if you can hit a fairway wood, right? If you're reasonably competent with a fairway wood, a forward CG club is probably going to give you better performance, right? So if you really struggle with a fairway wood, if you can't get it in the air at all, or fighting that slice, right? Something like an SFT is going to work well, but if you can put a good swing on it and make reasonably solid contact, you're probably going to be better off with a more forward CG in terms of overall performance. So in that respect, I think it kind of makes sense what we saw.
Yeah, absolutely. And just one more thing two more things I want to cover. We have a really good runner-up, again, the Cobra King F9.
Dude, how many runner-ups did they have this year?
It's like Ricky Fowler in majors. No,
that makes up for the chicken story.
No, I mean they made the whole F9 speedback line has been performing exceptionally well this year.
I think if we averaged place ranking throughout the whole year, I think Cobra is top of the list.
It's
for
up there.
You know what?
It's definitely
I'll
up there.
do that. I'll look into that and
quietly a very good lineup from end to end, right? I mean, unfortunately, Cobra tends to have to do everything quietly by comparison.
I know, it's crazy. It's like you hear about Cobra when they launch something, right? Like F9, dead silence the rest of the year. That's it. I mean, every year it's been like this, And the problem is they make some really good product, and golfers just don't hear about it enough.
Yeah, well, definitely if you're going to go get fit for a 3-wood this year, do not bypass the F9 because those baffler rails are the real deal. And speaking of which, if you're going to go get fit for a three metal this year or any fairway wood, definitely consider a few different things when you're going to go get fit. Are you going to be hitting it primarily off the tee? Are you going to be hitting it primarily off the deck? If you're going to be hitting it off the deck, you're going to need a 3-wood that launches a little higher because obviously you're going to want to be able to hold greens if you're hitting long par 5s and 2 and something that spins enough. So don't go into the launch monitor and say, oh my God, I hit this 3-wood 10 yards shorter than my driver because
first
it doesn't
going with
spin
your
enough.
objective first and then find the right fit, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, don't get obsessed with this distance number because oftentimes, we just had a guy in there yesterday. He was fit for a driver and then he was hitting 3-woods and he's like, man, I only hit this 3-wood like 15 yards or 10 yards shorter than my driver. And we're like, well, maybe we could see if we could optimize a little bit better.
It's a great simple point, right? So many golfers that go in for fitting into a, whatever Dick's or PJ Super Sport or whatever, don't go in there with a mindset of any objective. They just go in and are kind of like paralyzed.
This goes a long way.
They're looking to the professional for their guidance on what they should be buying.
Yeah, and they're just kind of aimlessly walking into like this hitting bay and like, hey, can I hit clubs? And they're kind of like in la la land. The guy's like, yeah. And they don't go in there with like, all right, I need a fairway wood. My objective for the fairway wood is X. Mm-hmm. Let's try to see which club fits that, right?
I mean, that is one. You need a window. So say you hit your driver 300, theoretically.
Yeah.
We're not all here. Come
say
on.
that, Gary.
Well, so
let's say 260.
All right, whatever it is. So say 260.
You're welcome.
And then you hit your hybrid. Your next club is about 200. You want something to go in like 235, 240. But then some 3-woods can go up to about 255, and he's like, oh, I'm going to get that one just because it's so good and so long. But no, you should try and fit and gap your whole set.
Every club in your bag should have a purpose.
Should have a gap as well.
Good gapping, yeah.
Mind the gap, please.
Well, all right, just to reiterate, let's go down one last time. So if you're in the market for a new fairway wood today, tomorrow, or next month or so, the most wanted overall is the Epic Flash Sub-Zero. The longest is the Srixon
ZF85.
So if you want in distance, that's your one. If you're looking for pure accuracy, it's the Ping
G410 SFT.
And if you're looking for the best bang for the buck, a new brand that just hit the market not too long ago is called Sub 70 Golf, and that one is called
the Sub 70 Pro.
Bingo.
What's retail price on that one, Sam?
$149.
Jeebus.
All right, I've got a challenge for you guys. When it comes to accolades, who do you think is leading in hard goods and soft goods?
Leading what?
The most wanted seal.
So who's won the most wanted seals this year by brand?
Yep.
Words are hard.
So let's do hard goods. Sam, what do you think?
Shouldn't I know this?
You should, but
I'm gonna go with Callaway.
Okay.
Do runner-ups count?
Yes, they count.
I'm going Cobra.
Cobra?
I think hard goods, Cobra, yeah. They've been strong in most categories.
TaylorMade with 7.
Ooh. Wow.
Callaway with 6. Mizuno with 5. Tommy Armour with 5. Ping with 4. Tour Edge with 4.
Wow.
On the hard goods.
Bigfoot.
So TaylorMade.
Where the hell's Cobra at?
They had a couple drivers.
Yeah,
in the swing speed categories. They had the putter, right, and the wedge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is obviously this is the swing speed categories, all those for the fast, slow, mid, all that kind of stuff. Soft goods is pretty self-explanatory.
Ping generally does really well, but this year I don't think they won that many awards.
Well, they had bags and gloves, right?
Yeah, that's true. I'd go Ping, I guess.
I'd go Ping, just
because they make.
All right, you're correct on that.
Yeah, I mean they participate. Well, that's the other thing too is they make
What do I
a
win?
whole slew of products for everything. So
They make
they give themselves a good
both
opportunity
hard
to do
goods
that.
and soft goods.
Yeah.
They're very, very good. And
Are you saying they're the
I'll
overall?
send
or is
you
that
a
just soft goods?
Popeyes gift card, Tony.
so Ping
You
came
can't even
out.
get the sandwich apparently.
I'm going to get it today.
We're gonna get you one on Facebook Messenger.
Delivered.
All right, so Ping
Delivered to your
I
door.
think
Ping
the
had
nearest Popeyes is 35 minutes away, so it's like I gotta drive for an hour to not eat chicken.
You're gonna drive for 2 because you're gonna stand in line for an hour.
Hey, listen. Here's the deal. You know why Sam had an extra hour to do this?
Because he doesn't work.
He has a girlfriend now, and he's no longer on Tinder.
No. Why'd you have to say that?
Yep. So he has extra hours in his day, and you see, he's not yawning today in the podcast.
I yawned once.
You did. He was falling asleep yesterday, so he was.
All right, should we go back to my point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let the British guy talk.
So who's the overall winner?
Ping with 9, Adidas with 4, Bushnell with 4, Titleist with 4, Cobra and Puma each have 3, so you could put that under the same umbrella, and they had 6.
All right. So who's the overall
Puma.
winner?
Like who's got both? Who's got the most in both? It's gotta be
Okay.
Ping
Ping with 9.
Ping.
for
So-
like both hard goods and soft goods.
Yeah. So they have 13.
They had 14 last year, I think. total.
And don't
We
forget,
get
we
categories
haven't.
left.
I haven't included the 3-wood, the wedge, and the utilities, and the rest of the ones that I've got to do. So this is just
does
ongoing.
Ping make CBD oil?
They're probably going
They,
to.
they,
All right, because they could get
should.
another.
I think it would probably be the last company in golf.
That's true.
So in the hard goods, you've got 3 of the 4 major OEMs right at the top of our list when it comes to
It's a safe
accolades.
bet. I mean, the OEM, the
Oh.
major OEMs are a safe bet.
Yeah, and Ping, we'd have to go back and look, but I know they won the overall last year for most
Yeah.
wanted awards, so they're on pace to do it
Yeah,
again.
but
this year.
that's an interesting fact for everyone out there.
Yeah, nice tidbit, Harry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Harry.
All right, moving on to rain gear.
Yep, we're gonna go rain gear now. So we have the winners were told yesterday.
Well, back up. I mean, how long were you waterlogged after the rain gear testing?
I was sprayed a lot.
You get some water in your ears.
It felt like I was in the swimming pool again.
I got to watch some of that testing, and there was
It's
a lot
thorough,
of water.
and it's thorough.
Thorough.
Did you not see the picture that we had? The cool picture that Matt did with the water spraying on them.
Yes, I
Yeah.
saw that.
Anyway, so the winners that came out was Cross, the E-Edge rain jacket, which is actually on sale for $160 for the jacket
Uh-oh.
Ooh, bargain.
and $108 for the pants. So actually coming out at $268. That's a very good price
For how,
a
for
rain
how
jacket.
good that rain suit is, yeah.
Yeah.
The average golfer has something crumpled up in their bag for
Somewhere. The
one
poncho.
instance, and the guy that doesn't, he might have a poncho, like the plastic poncho you see at Busch
Mm-hmm.
Gardens.
The Disney, yeah.
Yeah, the Disney poncho. But
Great
for
poncho.
if you are in the market for rain gear, I would just say this, obviously this stuff is expensive. And what we have found is there is really not, in our testing over the last 3 or 4 years, a single model that we have found under $100 or even $200 for a top bottom combo that is even worth investing a penny in.
Yeah.
So the problem with rain gear, in my opinion, is 1, you don't have to use it that much, right? And 2, you have to pay a lot of money for something you're not going to use that much for it to be effective.
Well, here's what I say to that is if you should go out and get a good rain suit that's going to last. So therefore, you pay the money up front, technically, and you use it throughout. If you average it over 10 years, you've got, $30
True,
bucks.
but who do you think should be
a
buying
year.
rain gear? Somebody that plays how many rounds a year? Because if you're only playing 10 rounds a year, you don't need rain gear, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. And if you're a fair weather golfer, you're not going to really need it that much. You might go out and buy something a little bit lighter, a little bit, half sleeve, quarter zip, that kind of style.
But damn, I'll tell you, man, if you got a good set of rain gear, that makes all the difference. Because sometimes you're going to get caught in rain.
Yeah, you are.
And
So Galway Bay is a great example. Cross is a great example. ProQuip is a good example, but you're coming out at $730 for a rain suit.
All right, so here's the only advantage I see for Cross and Galway Bay over the others. don't get me wrong, both of them, all of them are expensive. Any good rain gear set. But the advantage I've seen over the years with Cross especially is the fact that the pants are like golf pants.
Yeah.
So I can get more functionality out of that pant than just when it's raining. The top, if you're in a tournament that's kind of cold in the morning or afternoon or whatever, that top is so comfortable. Both of them are for swing and movability that I'm going to get much more usage out of those two suits than I would over a Pro Quit or some of the lower finishers, just because they are literally like plastic bags on you.
Oh,
and
the
only time you would want to wear them is when it's pouring down. These, I think, are,
So these in general, these suits, I have used both of them, and I've gone and watched baseball games with my fiance, and I've worn both of them because Galway Bay has a lined option. I've taken it to ski with, and it's been really good.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a multi-purpose rain suit, so it's not just for golf. You're using both of those products for different activities for everyday life.
Yeah, so if you're going to spend that much money,
make sure you can get the use out of it.
Get one of those, probably just because you're going to get your bang for your buck out of it more, because you'll have more usage.
Yeah. The versatility is definitely a plus.
I mean, but so rain gear is kind of a tough one. So you have to think like you are when it comes to 3-woods. You have to go into that launch monitor with a mindset of what you want and an objective. When it comes to rain gear, you take that same thing. What am I trying to say? The same methodology, basically, to that mindset. Thank you, Tony.
Words are hard.
Words are hard this morning. So, for instance, location. If you're up where Tony is, you kind of want something maybe a little bit thicker in the winter because you're going to be freezing your balls off. You want something lined, like the Galway Bay pants. If you live in
but
Arizona,
if we're down here, I want something thin.
Yeah, or anywhere that's hot, you want something thin.
That goes to his point. What mindset are you going in for your purpose, right? What are the conditions you're going to be playing in? First of all, do you play enough rounds to make it worthwhile? Is there going to be enough usage out of it that you can go to a baseball game or go skiing? Yes, if you're checking these boxes, right? And then the next box is, where do you live and what are your weather conditions? And that's going to determine what you're going to get. But I still think it would be more beneficial. The half sleeves are still really, really expensive, and you don't get as much usage out of those as Harry can use these when he goes to a game or go skiing or whatever, right? You're not going to get that usage out of the other ones.
Yeah. And another couple of things I just want to put out there is, if it used to be waterproof, like 100% waterproof, and it isn't anymore, wash your rain suit. I don't know how many times that I've done it in the past where I've worn my rain suit in the rain, put it in my bag, stowed it away for, the next round or whatever, and it stayed in there for 3 months, and then it doesn't work anymore because it needs to be washed.
Well, one other thing is, don't put fabric softener in when you use these, when you wash and dry them, because
it gets rid of the coating of the waterproof coating that they put on the waterproof.
Correct.
Interesting.
So, but wash it with just cold on your settings.
With detergent or whatever.
With the old college setting, permanent press.
There
That's
you go.
what you use.
And my last point
Low
is, be careful when you're having a rain suit that's a little bit too baggy, has a little bit too much room to move, because I have had a lot of times where I've had a little bit of when I'm putting, a bulge, where the excess material has come. Yes, Tony, I know you like that word. Where the putter grip actually gets caught in the rain suit. So that's just another variable that is annoying when you play
I would
golf.
say, out of all the rain gear we've tested over the years, the two that stand out as more of a Euro fitting, tailor fit, tighter fit, better fit are the Cross and the Galway Bay. Cross being the more European fit, Galway Bay being more of a hybrid between a US and
and we've identified that in the buyer's guide, so check that out. We've said if they're European fit or slim fit or medium fit, large fit, whatever you have and whatever you are, check out our buyer's guide, because you're gonna get the ones that you want.
Yeah, I had some pretty good luck with the Galvin Green suit last year. I liked that one a lot. It was Gore-Tex. It didn't have a lot of stretch, which kind of sucked, but for the dryness factor and the fit factor, and I'm not a big dude, so the Eurofit stuff really.
Yeah. Do you think? So here's a question: Do you think Gore-Tex is gonna go? Yeah. I think that is, because the materials right now in technology are just as good as Gore-Tex, but you have the flexibility.
Gore-Tex was king of the mountain for a long
It
time.
was,
But I mean,
yeah.
they're making better products now. The problem is Gore-Tex is like waterproof, right?
Yeah.
These new products that move better, are lighter, are thinner, are somewhat waterproof, but they're almost all the waterproof you need. Meaning, like if you're in a downpour for an hour, they're not going to cover you.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you're not in a downpour for an hour.
Right.
And they do an adequate job, and they are much more flexible in the swing, and they also don't create like a wrestler that's trying to cut weight,
Right.
and you're sweating like a...
Yeah.
What do we call it? Swamp crotch.
I call
Yeah,
it
I like
golfer's ass.
I like
Swass.
Swass.
I like golf. I like Gore-Tex on the mountain when I'm snowboarding.
You do?
Yeah, but
You like
not.
to shred with Gore-Tex?
I think you should give the lined pants from
Tony,
Galway
do you
Bay a go.
shred with Gore-Tex?
Really?
They're
You
good.
skied with those?
I skied with those.
I fall a lot though, so I'm on the snow a lot. So.
Tony, when's the last time you shredded?
I don't shred.
No shredding.
Fine.
No shredding, no.
I'm going to Avon this year. You want to come?
We can't get him down to the vicinity,
Oh,
let
That's
alone
true.
go there.
He's definitely not coming to. Ski.
Great segue, Harry.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Oh yeah.
You're welcome.
Tony Covey is coming to the facility next week.
Reluctantly.
This is his
Reluctantly.
first time in how many years? 10 years?
10 years. Yep. So
Yeah.
For those of you-
Sean Toulon, if you're listening, guess which finger I'm holding up.
So for y'all that don't know out there, Tony started a somewhat of a whatever word phenomenon in golf called Find It, Cut It. And basically, Tony started cutting open golf balls that he found. And we already kind of had cut some balls open and knew what we were probably going to see. But we started uncovering, and Tony started uncovering some things that were concerning to consumers for sure, and to the quality control standards of the golf companies that are out there producing these quote-unquote tour-level balls. So one of them was the Chrome Soft, and most of the people that follow No Putts Given or us on social or whatever have seen those images. They're not pretty. They're scary. And Callaway has
Not
noticed...
Photoshop, by the way, as some seem to think. Like,
Yeah.
really better things to
How
do
do
in
you
my
even
time.
do that?
Well, if you think they're photoshopped, ask Callaway why they're investing $50 million on improving it. It's not because we photoshopped them. So that being said, Callaway has noticed the problem, and Callaway will be visiting MyGolfSpy next week.
Mm-hmm.
So Wednesday and Thursday next week, Callaway will be in here, and we're gonna tell them how we do things, why we do things, which they kind of already know, and they're gonna talk golf balls. And so that should be interesting. So the Find It, Cut It thing, for everyone out there that has participated, keep doing it. And thanks for participating, because it's already starting to make a change in the industry behind the scenes for sure. And we all have our Tony Covey to thank for that, I guess.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Tony.
sure.
He might go in the golfing Hall of Fame.
You think so?
At least at MyGolfSpy. We'll make one for you, Tony.
Or Wall of Infamy.
Something like that. I'd like a plaque.
But yeah, that's exciting news.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Look, at the end of the day, we just want mutual understanding from all sides, right? Consumers, companies, to us. We want to do the best job we can, and we want every manufacturer to be involved in our testing process and understanding of how we do things, because if they can help us improve that, we're all ears all the time. And Callaway, actually, what's that, Tony?
That's a true story.
Yeah, and Callaway, believe it or not, Sean Toulon, which is going to be visiting here next week as part of Callaway, used to be part of Callaway, or TaylorMade, and he was one of the first people we talked to almost 10 years ago now, right, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, it would be absolutely the truth to say that Sean Toulon was sort of instrumental in helping us improve and get to where we are today. So he's sort of been there from the beginning, and I guess he's coming back in, and hopefully, with some input from him, and Alan Hocknell, Doc Hawk, is coming out as well. We'll kind of have some. I'm looking forward to the conversation and seeing if they have any ideas for what we can tweak to make things that much better, and certainly hopefully they'll get something from us as well. So
Hey, no test is perfect, but we want to do the best test we can every year, and that's why we try to put improvements in every year. at the end of the day, you guys buy equipment. We try to test equipment for you so you can feel confident that what you're spending your money on will be quality products. And that's our job at the end of the day. And really happy that Callaway's coming down to be a part of it and moving that relationship forward, because it's been a long time. And being completely transparent, it's about time, you know?
Yep.
And other than that, today we're getting ready to leave here right now to go do something fun called Guess the Yardage Challenge as a placeholder for a title right now. And we have some life-size cutouts of yours truly, Harry Nodwell. We've got some other surprises for everybody to see. And so anyway, you looking forward to Guess the Yardage Challenge today?
I'm looking forward to my
can't
Popeye's
wait.
chicken sandwich later.
You're going to get that chicken sandwich?
Damn right I am.
I really hope you don't get it, just because I really look
Wow.
forward to that story again.
Oh yeah, no, it'd be great to hear that same boring story again next week.
Wow. I'm just gonna go.
20 minutes on how Sam didn't eat chicken.
I'm just
Hey,
gonna go an hour early.
I was gonna duck him. I was gonna duck him one stroke for that slow play of his story.
We're going to tag Marshall him at the Popeyes. All right, well, that's episode 12 of No Putts Given. We hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll see you next week. We out.